Hello, everybody. Hello, my friends. We are getting the Queer Ultimatum Season 2. And in this season, the Ultimatum Queer Love, we are getting a lot of good couples actually. And I don't have a lot of thoughts on every couple, but I have something to say about this one. And this couple basically consists of Ashley, 30 years old, and Marita, 25 years old. And basically, Ashley wants her partner to pick me and know that I'm enough. So she issued ultimatum to Marita, her girlfriend, and basically she initiated this trip for Marita. She initiated all the thing. She who was behind the ultimatum and attending this reality show in general. But we actually don't know exactly what intentions were initially behind attending this reality show, because everyone has his own feelings about this reality show, about how fake this is, or how real their intentions to marry each other. But what I noticed about this couple was that I immediately felt something genuine, but not necessarily towards Marita, but Ashley. And her main struggle in this couple was basically that her partner basically always just put that bar so high in terms of the romantic relationship, and they struggle in terms of romantic relationship and how they see romantic relationship in general. And from her perspective, from Ashley's perspective, romantic relationship is not necessarily when you just giving flowers and just saying some words, certain words to your partner. But for her, it seems to be different. But we never really got to know what her perspective on romantic relationship. He's the word she said was about romantic relationship, just so little to understand the exact meaning behind that. And her girlfriend Marita basically was issued ultimatum, so she was forced to leave her girlfriend for 3 weeks, and in 3 weeks they will reunite again to see if they have still that intention to marry each other, or if they move on from this relationship together, or with a new partner, or as solos. And first cocktail party, they were all the participants were together. They were sharing some thoughts on star crush, celebrity crush, queer celebrity you have crush on. And everybody was sharing feelings about different celebrities. And I noticed that not really everybody, because Ashley was so reserved from the beginning. I noticed that a bunch of people on that project, they are so confident and they feel so at ease being in front of a camera. But some couples, some individuals, they were kind of reserved, and sometimes it's so difficult to notice the most interesting people, because the loudest ones always in front of cameras and they seem genuine, but at some point you just realize that there is a lot of good personalities. For example, Bridget, she was chosen by Ashley for trial marriage. and she was like acknowledged as the most genuine person in that project by anyone, by like every contestant. But a part a part of your personality, I genuinely believed that Ashley and her girlfriend Marita, they were the most chill and the most like easy to watch couple I ever seen on any reality show, because a lot of reality show have toxic like attention seeking people, but they do not do like try to drag all the attention like to themselves, but they seem like just for another purpose, and they seem to find out what actually like the problem like to get married, and to get married your partner, you issued ultimatum to your partner to see if like it's gonna work out the problem, or if problem still exists, you should just move on from that partner and find a new one, or you can just leave alone. And Bridget was the chosen partner of Ashley. Bridget was 28 years old, but I really found out that she is 29 currently, and she is writer cum bartender, however doesn't understand the point of marriage, so she like was issued ultimatum from her original partner Kyle. But I started to believe that once Ashley and Bridget were together, that this is somehow is gonna work. And it seems more like like just cute couple in terms of the vibe I'm getting from this. I mean, like your original partner Kyle is more masculine type of lesbian, and I'm okay with that, but like I'm getting more vibe like now I'm just watching these two people. They seem so comfortable together, and at some point I really just started to believe that they are going to be like finally together leaving this project. But what went wrong with this situation, or what like never supposed to happen actually, was that Bridget actually she issued ultimatum to her partner, but she didn't really fully like going into this experience as like to try whatever like it offers in terms of the new possibility to be with someone intimate, or to be with someone like like emotionally connected. She's just trying to be herself. She's just trying to be genuine and just find probably a new friend or something. And at some point I realized that you don't have to have like high expectations from like persons like Bridget or Ashley in terms of like your thoughts that you imagined about how it could be potentially, basically because a lot of people just romanticizing relationship in general, and they trying to like imagine certain type of couple on reality show, and they want to see them only that way, and they want to see like them, or not necessarily Bridget and Ashley, but they want to see a couple they rooting for. They want to see them in that specific way, like kissing each other, like and like uh, and like hearing the most beautiful music while they kissing. Like, we have this stuff on this project, and in this season there was at least one moment when I really like, enjoyed the beauty of like intimate moment between two people on reality TV. And it's not necessarily like it's not necessarily needs to be people you rooting for or you sympathize. It's like it could be someone even you hate or someone you dislike. But for reality show, it doesn't really matter if you like them or not, because the only purpose of reality show is actually to bring as much viewers as possible and to expand the concept of reality show more. Because first, that was just straight project, there were straight couples, and the ultimatum like issuing to straight persons with the same rules, but the vibe probably was different. And now we have this vibe like with 6 couples, and every person seems to be so different, but at the same time, like only small amount of people, like 2 or 3, getting like that amount of screen time necessary, like to get to know them better, like, and another 3 or like 4 people, they do not get it like enough screen time for us to understand them better or something like this. And Ashley and her partner Marita, they were on that side of people who getting not enough screen time to open up a little bit more. And sometimes it's just, so obvious that all the attention is gonna be on the loudest ones, and sometimes the fakest ones. But I'm not gonna just bring them up because a lot of people who can do that better than me, but I'm just looking for relationship that is like, reciprocating with me. And if I see people so genuine and I feel that, I'm going to, talk about that. So after Ashley and Bridget, they were together as a couple for this trial marriage. They were actually like starting to open up a little bit. And Bridget, she's always like that, she is adamant about what she wants. She is like always consistently confident, overly confident, and she seems like so chill. But Ashley is always like talking about like your girlfriend is always trying to ask her for that like romantic gesture that she is not capable of, this is the problem. And there is no that of like there is not such a huge problem on Bridget and her partner's side. They do not experience any problem like this, romantic stuff or something like this. And they actually together trying to work out the better way to like improve their marriages. They are not trying to like immediately, use this relationship to make their original partners jealous, or they are not trying to, abuse this moment because 3 weeks in a hotel room, you can actually just use it for your own purpose. You can just be intimate with someone, and some other contestants, they actually did intimacy on this trial marriage with a new partner, not with your original one. And of course, this could have been a huge problem if they did that. So they preferred like this more like slow-paced way to discover each other's personalities. Ashley, she is actually working as account manager, if I remember correctly. She is account manager, and Bridget, she is a bartender. So this is like two different personalities, but at the same time, Bridget found Ashley's like genuine personality so similar to her own personality, basically. So there is nothing that actually, like can be matching more than these two people. And Ashley feels like she can share something personal about her experience and why she like not capable of doing like romantic gestures. And she actually started to talk about her college experience and how toxic that was. Her partner basically accused her of any friends she had because she started immediately getting jealous of like Ashley being with her friends, and this is why she couldn't have any friends. And at one point she like caught herself in the moment when her partner started like constantly screaming and yelling at her, like she was basically abused emotionally and at some point even physically. There was like a moment when she tried to like break a bottle of Jack Daniels against her head, and cops basically got arrested her girlfriend. They arrested Ashley's girlfriend, her college girlfriend. And after that, she feels like she is not like willing to do those like romantic things. But like, how is that really connected? If I like understand that correctly, if you experience something like this trauma from like someone you love, and you were basically way more younger than you are now, she is now 30, and basically she was like probably 20 years old or something at that point. If someone really like pushed you like that, like try to hurt you, like, and you then just justify that as a love, and she actually forgave her, and she didn't even like tell police anything. So she like basically covered her girlfriend who was abusing her. So we can understand that she is bottling up her emotions because of that, and not necessarily just one single moment, but basically it could have been like multiple relationships with abusive partner. But like, is she lying or trying to like exaggerate it? Nobody knows. Is she keep lying throughout the season? I don't think so. None of this looks like lying for me, basically. To me, it all looks genuine, and I don't necessarily rooting for anybody, but I just trying to understand the intentions behind people and behind personalities and how they try to, like make this relationship work. For example, for Ashley, the only way she can make it work with Marita is to give Marita what she wants, like those romantic gestures. But did she say actually, did Ashley say even once what she wants actually from this relationship from Marita? She didn't like mention even once what she wants, like romantically or like in any other aspect of their relationship. And I understand that she bottling up those feelings about what she wants, because if she tries like to open up more, she feels like that vulnerability, that like, you know, possibility of getting hurt is close. And after a lot of experience, like with that abusive person, for example, it's way easier to just, you know, bottle up your emotions and to be that, you know, like reserved person she is right now. And she has a dog, of course, someone like who is not requiring you any gestures and no romantic, but just a little hugs sometimes. Probably, you know, like this reality show in general just so intense because a lot of context is just missing. For example, we can see just different moments like this one. They are like making pots, like, and this is like the activity, if I understand, Bridget does like consistently in her life. It's something like she loves the art. And even at this pretty, like, I would say intimate moment, because they were so close, like first time probably, Ashley didn't even say nothing about what she wants again, because she was trying to kind of again bring up Marita, or trying to enjoy this moment in general, be in the moment. But I wanted to hear actually what just hindering her from doing that stuff, you know. And from Bridget's perspective, it's kind of breakthrough in their relationship with Ashley. But what that breakthrough actually is, if we only see like them doing this pots. But again, a lot of context missing, because this reality show only like 8-10 episodes, something like this. It's not enough. It's not enough for like, you know, proper context, because all the details behind screen that we are missing right now, those details probably would tell way more than we have, you know. And even those like jokes she's making, putting your finger somewhere, like she was enjoying like this moment, that was like a joke, but she made the joke, and that was like cut out of the context. The context was missing again, because she was making the joke probably in some type of conversation, and I wanted more build up to any moment they have, you know. I wanted to see the whole picture of any conversation. And with like these type of characters, you don't get that context and the whole picture, because they do not seem the most interesting and the most entertaining persons, because it's always like working like this. On reality show, the most loudest ones, they get all the attention. They all getting like heard heard because they just scream, to be heard. They are just the loudest, so it's not like possible for like Ashley like to be heard on reality show. And this is the problem about the reality shows in general. It's not only about the queer love, the ultimatum. And after they reunited after their trial marriages, I didn't really like hear again anything about like what really changed, like, because either Bridget or Ashley, they were still like committed to their original partners, and together they were just exploring some type of things like what they like, what they don't. But again, a lot of stuff just probably never were mentioned because the TV show itself is so rushed. It's not just possible to put everything in 10 episodes. And basically, their last night before they reunite with their original partners, this is their last night before trial marriage, and she even said herself that she was living like under her partner's Marita's shadow. She was like telling that I'm telling you right now that she was under that shadow. But once she like got out of that shadow of Marita's, she needed way more like straightforwardness to be heard, to be actually like understood, because I still don't know what person she is. Like, I see that Bridget is genuine, I see Ashley somehow is genuine, but I do not get the like any conclusion on her in general, because not enough context again for me. And that change over is basically when you getting reunited with your original partner. So they are like telling that they were enjoying every moment of this trial marriage and everything was so good. And the authenticity and showing up in your relationship, two things were mentioned the most probably. And those two things apply to only few people on this project actually. Authenticity and showing up in your relationship, romantically or in general, apply to Bridget and probably nobody else, just her. I don't know who else can just be that person, who just actually showing up and who so authentic. So I just questioned this like reality show, like what else they need to put these people together if we see like how how like good they are matching each other, how really like they are vibing. At this point I just questioned why we need just to reverse it, why we need like the original partners back. Why can't we just get this story keep going, like if this is reality show, why they can't just do that just for reality show? I don't care about how fake or how real this reality show is, because some part of mine tells me just, I want just some type of story that I can reciprocate with. I can just enjoy this, and the only people who just seemed to me that way were these two people. And at some point I realized that I'm not going to get it. Like, there is no way that they are going to be together, because after that trial marriage, they reunited with their partners, with original partners. And Ashley and Marita, they started to chewing the same subject again and again about the romantic stuff, and how like Ashley's missing that, part of Marita's life, which is huge part, because Marita is so like fixated on romantic stuff, and that she deserves all the things considered romantic, But when you constantly just demanding something, you just, forgetting that you should be giving something as well. Like, and from Ashley's perspective, romantic stuff is probably something she's not getting from her partner as well, because from her perspective, romantic stuff seems to be different than just, again, flowers and words and something like dates. And she's trying to do something for Marita in terms of romantic, like to make her fulfill in that area, but she doesn't really know what to do, like, because in her life, in her experience, like romantic stuff was probably the worst one. But her girlfriend Marita is just not willing to see that from Ashley's perspective. She only see that, like, she would see that only from perspective of like, I need that, and that, like, and you like not giving me neither of that, like, but I still telling you I need that, like, and she never really asking what like you need, and this is like the way she receives love. And there is another way like to receive love, like, and that way of receiving love that Ashley never told about, like she never actually mentioned the way she receives love, like the concrete form of that, receiving love from someone, receiving those feelings. I never like heard any of those from her perspective. And should she mention that, it would have been way more clear about what she wants, and they could have actually stopped this relationship like way more like earlier, at some point when like there is no way they just can cater to each other, because one person is constantly asking for one thing and another person is just not asking for nothing. She's just explaining herself and trying to, again, bottle up her own demands. And we were introduced to sisters of Ashley's. She and her probably older sister and her twin sister, who is actually like as beautiful as she is. They both actually are so beautiful. So I see like some part of her personality comes from probably her childhood and the way she was raised with two sisters, and the three of them, they all are beautiful, attractive women. But I can see basically that it could have contributed to her reserved personality, because one of your sisters, like Alexis, she seems to be way more like, confident and straightforward about what actually, like, what needs to be told. She actually just tells everything, and she is not reserved as her sister is. And in this like type of family, when you have two sisters or two brothers, you always left behind somehow. If you are the youngest, or if you are like in the middle, you can be left, and you can be like shadowed by another sister or your like older brother, because your parents initially, they like putting a lot of expectations on the youngest one and not on the oldest one, not on the youngest one. And parents always like expecting something from the oldest one, because they now just in that stage of like receiving, because your parents, they were giving the whole life, and now they want to receive something. And the oldest sister or brother first in line to get something back to your parents. They first in that line of giving feedback, being whole life raised by the same parents, coming to the point when you will need to give something back. And like probably not necessarily this, but it's just something I mentioned from my own like experience. And this is why you are constantly bottling up your own feelings. You're trying to be just decently normal, live with your sisters, with your brothers, but you don't feel any need to be like more loud than your sisters, than your older one. And it's not necessarily like this in this case. In this case, it could be like different. And I don't even know if your sisters like older than she is, because one seems to be older, but the other one seems to be the youngest one. But anyway, this type like of family always contributes to your personality. Having sisters, brothers, and not telling your feelings and what you want for a long time can contribute to your personality becoming reserved and you becoming just bottling up even more and more. And this is why like now she is not able to give anything to her partner Marita. And Marita is probably coming from the same background, or she's probably trying to like convince herself that she deserves everything and she needs to be demanding this from her partner. But I just imagine if she never mentioned any demands on this project, if she just started this whole project for herself like differently, not like that she needs, she deserves everything, like she deserves that, she deserves this. If she started this project like completely different, not like this, with no demand, like with no talking about her romantic pursuits, how different this relationship could have ended up, because it ended up so bad actually. And now like Ashley is, pulling back her ultimatum, because she is reversing ultimatum, because she now like wavering her in like feelings about this marriage in general. And after her partner Marita was mentioning multiple times how good her trial marriage with Brittany was, and how little things like food, like flowers, like everything she required, everything were like, done by Brittany. But this is obviously just so easy to, to tell that what, Brittany did was like exactly what she needed. But we need to remember that they were together for 3 weeks in a hotel room, right? So this experience is completely different from the experience you actually live in your real life, not on this project. And on this project, Brittany, she was left out. She was not chosen by a person she chose. Basically, she was left like with Marita, because they like both of them, they were left out without no partner, and their original partners, they were picked. And now like they can do all these things just because they are on the project. They can make something just for their screen time because they need to do something, right? Excuse me.